My name is Big Bong. Well, that's my stage name. My name is Bong Su, actually. I'm from France, but about my origins, it's plenty of it. My father is half French, half Lebanese, and my mother is Japanese. Unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to learn Arabic, but I was bilingual from birth, basically speaking French and English at home. From birth, I guess, like I didn't really have the choice. I was born and right away I had to speak Japanese to my mother and French to my father, and then after that I went to school. However, I did enjoy learning other languages in school, for example English or Spanish, German, but it's just, I'm an outgoing person. I love interacting with people, so when you go to another country and you can't do that, you just want to learn the language in order to achieve that, speaking with people. It was natural. I mean, it was just like, okay, I want to talk to these people, to this group of people. I can't. What can I do? So it's more a way to interact with other people rather than actually being fascinated by. Some people would like languages for the way they sound, for the poetry, or history, or for me, it's more the human interaction, the human relationships that you can create with others. The languages I know fluently, it's only three. I know that here in Langfest there are plenty of polyglots who can only speak. Three? Yeah, I know. So it's just French, English, and Japanese. However, I've learned German, Spanish, Korean, Chinese, and a little bit of Arabic. So these conversations, some I could have a really basic conversation, with some others it's more basic level. Well, English is a bit tricky because my English accent is a little bit weird in the way that I learned the English the British way, and I came here in North America, so I interacted with a lot of Anglophones with different accents, so I kind of picked things, bits and pieces here and there. However, French, yes, very much. Every time I would travel, especially here in Quebec, the accent is very, very different from France. But then when I go to Switzerland, for example, or Belgium, or other places in France, it's always fascinating to see not only the accents, but a few words that people would use differently. But sometimes, I mean, actually most of the times, it's enjoyable to imitate, it's stereotypes, I guess. But for example, the Russian accent, I don't speak Russian. I don't really know that many Russian people, but it's funny. Same for Chinese accent or Asian accent. A lot of people are find it funny. So it's just to entertain the people, because again, I'm a comedian, so that's what I do. Making people laugh. So accents, languages would be more for me to speak with people, but accents would be more to entertain people. And in that sense, I would also exaggerate all the stereotypes that we know about languages. So for example, the Italian accent, I would make a lot of hand gestures, and also exaggerate the accent. So sometimes people from those countries, they would say, nah, that doesn't sound Italian, or that doesn't sound Russian. But like most of the people would say, oh yeah, but the imitation is good. So I would say about a dozen accents. Yes, well, I did it also in Japanese and in Korean. So when you have an accent in a specific, like you get how one language should sound, then you can, transpose, you can basically take that and adapt it to any languages, So I don't know if I can give you an example, but in English, for example, if I start speaking like that, of course, a lot of people would know that it's definitely from France, but in Japanese it's the same. 日本語を話すときはこんな感じで話すときはすごくフランス人とはso you get the picture. So you take the accent and you switch it to languages, and then people find it funny. I just look at the people and imitate them, as simple as that. So for example, if I want to learn Spanish, and right now I'm watching a lot of Netflix shows, Spanish speaking Netflix shows from different countries, I would just watch the scene and repeat after the actor the way the actor says it. So mostly it's Colombian or Mexican right now, but that's my way of learning, just imitating basically. If it's too difficult, sometimes there are a small variation, like really, really subtle things, I would write them down. Okay, so there is what we call the paraverbal and the nonverbal. So paraverbal would be everything that's directly connected to the speech. So, sorry. So the voice, the pitch, the accent as well, and nonverbal would be the body language. So how people are people, you know, using their eyes a lot? Are people use their hands a lot, or are they sitting down and speaking more in a, you know, calm and reserved way? And of course, like some personalities are different. So it doesn't matter what language you speak. Some people would be more calm. Some people would be more, you know, outgoing, expressive. But in general, you have certain tendencies in countries that would, you know, for example, in Japan, a lot of people would be nodding their head like that. Oh. So that's something Japanese people would do. So that's the kind of things I would analyze and yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, do you have something on your neck? Like, must be like, you know, a lot of, anyways. So I just watch that and I notice it. And then if it's obvious, then I don't need to note it. But sometimes it's like, oh, I noticed that in Quebec, they tend to do things more that way. So I would write it down and then try to incorporate it in the way I act. I would say that the accents I prefer in imitating are the ones that obviously I'm the more comfortable with. So for example, the English from England as opposed to the English from America. Of course, it's really, really very much exaggerated. However, the Russian is also pretty enjoyable. And the French one, of course, a lot of people, you know, the Parisian, yeah, I'm sorry. The Parisian one, people really can relate to that and can recognize, oh yeah, this is so French. And but of course, you know, the body language has to go with it. So of course, a French person would be, you know, really like this. So this is also really enjoyable. As long as, you know, I can entertain the audience, people, you know, send me direct feedback by laughing, I'm happy. Sometimes people feel offended. There's nothing to do about it. I think that these people actually feel some kind of complex. Like, you know, French people will say, no, we're not negative. No, we're not always, you know, criticizing things, which of course, you know, there is a tendency again, and it's true. Like people from Paris, they tend to be more negative and then tend to gossip, and you know, it's true, it's a fact. And of course, it's a generalization, so not everybody does that again, but it's a tendency. It's like, so the society is inclined to do that, you know. So yeah, of course, some people would feel offended because it's sometimes, you know, it's not. Because again, you know, I do my imitations to entertain the people, so I would exaggerate it. So it would be too much, and that's the purpose, is to make people laugh. Okay, French people are like that, but Russian people, you know, you don't fuck with them, you know. So a lot of Russian people, you know, no, you have a lot of warm Russian people, but again, there's a tendency and there's a stereotype, and people want to see that. Okay, Russian people, they keep coming back because it's funny, you know. You have that, and it's also
because you met some Russians and you're rude.
Absolutely no. I don't know that many Russian people. I wish I could. I wish I could learn the language as well. However, it's just funny, you know. We have, and especially my audience is very much North American. So, you know, I could make an imitation of Bhutan, which is a country that nobody knows. But that's the thing, nobody would laugh because nobody would know how it sounds like. On the other hand, if I make an imitation of a French person from Paris, it's well known, so people recognize it. So I try to reach exactly, or people from Quebec, yeah. American, same thing. British, same thing. Russian, same thing. Italian. So these are really well-known countries, and if I make an imitation, people would know, okay, that's the image I have of that country. Does it match? Is it more exaggerated? Is it funny? And that's my purpose, basically. So Russian keeps coming back because, you know, a lot of people know about it. I was contacted by Tetsu, one of the organizers of Langfest, and he really, really loved my Japanese video, so the accents I did in Japanese. Tetsu is definitely a Japanese name, but it could be like Big Bong, maybe he gave himself his name, but I think he's Japanese. Yeah, so he watched the videos. Of course, he speaks fluently Japanese, so he understood everything. He found it completely funny, and he said, "You know what? We have an event, and we want to see you there." It was too late to give a speech last year, but he said, "Okay, come and join us, and just look at the event. And next year, if you can, we would like you to give a speech." And the funny thing is that I knew already another one of the organizers of Langfest, who is Nicolas Viau. So it was really funny. So Tetsu sent me this comment. Nicolas saw it and he said, oh, "Okay, actually I know this guy. He's my friend." And Tetsu was like, "Wow, why didn't you why didn't you tell me about him and stuff?" So from then on, I was contacted, and that's how I knew about the event. So guys, please come and say hi to. Please come and join me at the Langfest. I'd be really happy to see you. Otherwise, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My name is Big Bong. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Bye.